Welcome to the Beauty in Burnt Toast, the podcast where we celebrate the crispy, chaotic, unexpectedly beautiful parts of life. I'm Jade.
And I'm Jamie. We're two women doing our best to live with purpose, laugh through the mess, and talk about the stuff that no one puts on Instagram.
Here you'll find real stories, unfiltered conversations, and reminders that perfection is overrated, but showing up, that matters.
And whether you're building a business, raising humans, chasing healing, or just trying to remember what day it is, you belong here.
So pour the coffee, reheat the toast, and let's get into it. This is the Beauty in Burnt Toast. Welcome back to another episode of the Beauty in Burnt Toast. Today we're talking raising team players, teaching kids respect and purpose. I have with me today Leonard Morris. He is a father of 5, coach, youth pastor, among many other things. Thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure.
All right. Like I said, today we're talking about what it really looks like to raise team players, kids who understand respect, responsibility, and purpose in a culture that often misses that mark. So Leonard, just tell us about yourself and kind of what you've experienced as a coach over these years and kind of how you got started as a coach.
Yeah, so I'm very thankful to be here today. Just the opportunity just to share my story. It's exciting. My wife, 14 years, is a big part of my life. We also have 5 kids that are 11, 9, 7, 5, and 2. And so it takes a lot to raise them. And what I've realized is coaching is what we do at home just as much as we do in sports. Mm-hmm. And so it's very important that we have the right coaches that are helping to support and raise our kids. And so for me, I've had great coaches throughout my lifetime. From Waylon Kyle when I was really young, playing sports, to his son Tommy, to Coach Lane Potter, Coach McDaniel. I can name a whole lot more. There's a lot of people that have helped me to become the man that I am today. And Billy Graham says, coaches will impact kids' life for a year more than most people would do in a lifetime.
Yeah. Wow.
And so what I've learned is, as a coach, you will either build insecurities or you'll build confidence in kids. And so I have seen it as an official, as a coach, as a player, and also as a parent. I've been able to watch other kids, other parents, and how they interact with their kids. And it's helped me in developing my kids and other people's kids along the way. And so I just never want to be that coach that's going to build an insecurity in a kid, because I know that trickles down as they get older. And a lot of adults, they don't build an insecurity at 40 years old.
Yeah.
They built it usually between that 5 and 12 years old.
Yeah. Well, it only takes one word, right?
Yep.
I mean, one thing in a kid's head that could just mess them up for a really long time.
That's right.
Is there a specific coach in your life that you just saw what they were doing and you're like, I want to do that one day?
Yeah. I had a coach, Tommy Kyle, that coached me in basketball. I had the opportunity to play for him. My 6th and 7th grade year, I decided to go to a middle school somewhere else for my 8th grade year, mainly to play football. And then basketball season rolled around. And during that season, that was the first time ever that I never started in the game of basketball. And I took that challenge as though, okay, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get on the court as a starter. Even though I was a 6th man and played just as much as the starters, I still had a challenge in front of me and I wanted to excel at that. And so throughout the season, instead of my minutes increasing and the opportunity open up for me to start, it actually decreased to where I became that guy that came off the bench down by 20 or 30 with 2 minutes to go in the game, or some games where I didn't play at all. And so Tommy came to my game in 8th grade, and he watched me sit the bench for 3 quarters. And then he ended up having to leave to go and coach his other team. And so in my 9th grade year, that summer, I was playing ball for another coach that I really love. And I just didn't want to go through the same kind of stuff that I did the previous year. And so I went back and played for Tommy in my high school year. We went to 3 state Final Fours and almost won one. But just the time that I got to spend with him, for him to develop me, to help me to grow, to be the man that I am today, it was very important. He was the person that helped me buy my first house. And then he helped me sell my first house.
That's going above and beyond for sure.
It is. It is. And so it wasn't just coaching on the court. Most relationships are built off the court. He would come and pick me up for practice early in the mornings, and we'd just have those 15 minutes to talk and just share what's on my heart. And he would allow me to be real, and he was real back with me. And I remember probably the lowest part of my life, I went to him and I just shared what was on my heart, and he was the one that helped me get help with the situation that I was going through. And from then on, it's just the camaraderie, the love, the support that him and his wife Heather gave me. They were there when me and my wife got married. They officiated our wedding. They were there when we had our first kid. They were there throughout my life. And so
they became like family.
They were.
Yeah.
They were. And so even today, there's still people that I can go and talk to and ask for advice. And now I get the opportunity to love on their kids. And it's pretty cool to watch that dynamic as well.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So why, besides all of the things that you have covered so far, why do you think it is so important for kids to be involved in a team sport or group activity, as far as the structures, the mentors, like we said, learning, respect?
Yeah, I think God is a God of order, right? And structure is a part of that. And I think that learning how to be a good teammate wherever you are is very important. And so sports should do that, right? It should teach you how to be selfless, how to encourage, how to build up and not tear down. But unfortunately, we still deal with humans, right? Humans that go to work, that have a tough day, that are insecure, and they take it out on whoever they encounter. They don't know a lot of information, and so because of that, they become insecure about it, and they cannot coach through that. There's a lot of different reasons why in today's society that coaches struggle. But I truly believe that if we can get it right as coaches and start learning how to build our players, not just for the sport, but to have good character, I truly believe that the world will change, and our kids will no longer just be competitive in the aspect of, I got to win at all costs, but they know when to turn it on, turn it off type deal.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to that team atmosphere, I've just learned as a coach, you got to be careful with what words you say.
Yeah.
I know, like in softball or baseball, most coaches, they say, and I know they don't mean it, but a lot of them talk about the outfield, right? They say, hey, every position's important. Well, in the middle of the game, usually their kid might be in the infield. They boot a couple of balls, they mess up, and then they go to them and they say, do you want to go to the outfield?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, time out.
Yeah.
Like, do you not see all these other kids that are listening? And now, anytime they mess up, they think that the outfield is the punishment.
Yeah.
It's like going to the corner, right? Instead of coaching that kid up and teaching them how to play, how to deal with failure, how to deal with messing up, right? I remember going to a tournament where some coaches told the kids that they should be embarrassed, and I'm like, hold on, man, that's interesting. And so I go and I look up the word embarrassment, and it's like a self-inflicted wound, right? So I talked to my daughter, and I was like, whoa. Like, you're not going to be, this is a game. This is a sport. So it really doesn't matter. We're going to learn from it. We're going to grow. But there's no reason to be embarrassed. You learn from the situation, right? And so unfortunately, the next day, we have the same situation and the same comment is made. And I have my kid is like shaking her head no. And I'm like, whoa. Stop, don't do that, don't do that. You will get in trouble. But she understood, like, I am not embarrassed.
Yeah.
We just got whooped. We got to go get better and grow from it. So I just think that as a coach, we got to be careful with what we say. But as teammates, we got to learn how to build people up along the way.
Yeah, I know. Like we said, one word can go a long way in somebody's life. And for me, that is one thing I did not want for my children. Like, I am a wallflower. Like, I'm not a person who's going to get out on the dance floor in front of a bunch of people, even though I have been a college majorette and I have performed. It's just a thing for me. And that probably goes back somewhere in my life where somebody said something. But with my oldest, I'm like, I did not want that for him.
Yeah.
So he wants to get out on the dance floor and shake his booty. I'm like, I might be a little embarrassed, but I don't say anything. I'm just like, you go, do you, you know?
That's it. That's it. Because you got to let them grow up and learn. And if you really sit back and ask a question, why do I feel the way that I do? You'll start to understand. Maybe it's an insecurity that I have or something that's going on in my life. And I've learned, man, kids, especially my kids, teach me a lot. But I remember my first time coaching sixth grade girls. And I told the mom, she came to me twice. The first time I was like, there's no way I'm going to go coach. Second time, I felt guilty because they couldn't find somebody to coach. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. But under these pretenses, like, I don't care if we win. Okay? But what I do care, I'm very competitive. But I wanted her to understand, I care more about your daughter and winning her heart than I do about this game.
Yeah.
And we would go to practice. And the first 3 practices, I would get in my car and I had a conversation with God. And it was like God just whispered to me. He was like, man, that was some good advice that you were giving those girls. Why don't you take your own advice? And I just started weeping, man, because I'm like, I live my life that way too, timid, scared sometimes, worried about making a mistake so I don't go full speed. Now on the court, I never had that problem. I don't care if I turned it over or not. But in life, there came a point in time that I struggled with that. And I was able to use that season to build me up. And so a lot of times when I coach, those kids are coaching me probably more than I'm coaching them.
Yeah. Well, as adults, I go back to the verse, and I don't know the whole thing, but it's about, taking your thoughts captive.
Yeah.
And I know that's something that we really struggle with. And so we want to try our best to handle the anxiety and fear and things like that in our children's very early so they don't turn into super anxious adults.
That's right. And if you ever look at it like, what fuels your thoughts? Is it social media? Is it other people's status? Is it fame? Is it
what ifs?
Right? It's all those other things that are feeding your thoughts. And so that's why it's so important, like, to get into the Word of God and understand what does the Word say, because I've learned, like, you reap what you sow. So if I sow good, I will reap good, right? And that's the same thing with my kids. So I got to continue to pour the right things in them so that they will get the right things out.
Yeah.
So what's in their head? What are they watching on their tablet or on their phone and stuff like that? Because whatever they're watching goes in, it's going to come out. So if I'm helping them by watching Bible stories and reading to them the Word of God and stories like that, that's the stuff that's going to come out of them. So their confidence is not in their ability, but in who God has called them to be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so one thing I wanted to ask you about that I keep seeing is discussion of kids these days really struggling with conflict resolution. So how do you see that play into sports?
It's a good one. A lot of times it's not just the kid. They usually see it at home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whatever they see at home usually comes out.
Well, and I guess parents on the court.
100%.
Like, how do you deal with the parents that just lose control?
Yeah. So being an official, I've been able to see a lot of different things, from parents storming the court, from parents yelling out loud, to the parent condemning their kid
Yeah.
throughout the game. It's so many scenarios that I've been able to see that has shaped me as a parent. But also when I go back and I look at how my parents parented me, it's tough for me because I can't relate to everybody else. My parents parent me out of love.
Yeah.
Whenever I played sports, every now and then, my dad would try to take me out and show me how to dribble a ball or give me some advice. But all four of my parents, they loved me. They did not try to make me a professional player or push me to be somebody that I'm not. They love me through the process. Well, I've watched a lot of kids that I know their parents love them, but the way they go about it sometimes is very difficult, because it's that insecurity that's been built, that their identity is now in the sport and not in who Christ has called them to be. And so when you watch it, a lot of times you hear the parent through the kid, how the kid reacts to certain situations. To Sally just missed the ball and Susan is upset. Usually their parent comes out of them, right? And so then the discord starts to happen. And they don't understand it, but they just do what their parents showed them to do. And it's one of those things, like, I have to be aware of my actions and reactions, because whatever I do, my kid's gonna do on a higher level, right?
Well, that was my next question is, how do you deal with a kid who is having a meltdown on the court?
Meltdowns on the court. So in our basketball league, I've been able to be an official, and I've watched kid get hurt, kid get hit with the ball, trip, fall, those things. Mom wants to come out there and go pick up little Johnny, and I'm like, no, we're okay.
Yeah.
And I divert Johnny's attention from the fact that he got hurt, and we start talking about something totally different. Johnny forgets about falling on the ground. A lot of times, if you're aware of what's going on, and you see that Johnny didn't get hurt because he fell on the ground. Johnny got hurt because he got embarrassed, right? And so what I've learned is, when that kid is having a meltdown, love them. Try to figure out what's actually going on in the situation. Are they embarrassed? Did they get hurt? I remember having a couple of kids that had Asperger's. I don't even know what that means, but the way that they were acting and reacting to situations, I'm like, man, these kids are bad. And I'm like, I don't know how to deal with this. Dad pulled me to the side. He told me about Asperger's. He helped me understand it. And now I could help the kid a lot better. When he got to that point to explode, I could see it coming, and I could sub him out. Hey, go take a break, go rest, about 5 minutes. hey, they're good to go.
Yeah.
They go back out there, they give me their all. Then I can see it coming up again. And it took time. And after that first year, I'm like, I want those kids again. Because we built a relationship, and I knew I didn't want to send them to another coach, maybe because they don't have the patience that I did, or maybe they don't understand it or care to understand. And I'm like, man, I love these boys. We built a relationship. I want them to come and play for me. So it's understanding your players, just like you would in a career. A lot of times they bring in, when they come to work and they come through those front doors, they're not, it's hard for them to leave all their baggage at the door. That's what we want them to do, right? They just got finished fussing with their spouse or their kids, or something just went different, and they don't know how to leave it at the door. So when they come in, you can tell something's off.
Yeah.
And so you're like, hey, you just got to get to work. You got to get it done. Or you can be, hey, take a deep breath. I need you to take 5 minutes to yourself. Go walk. Come back. Let's talk. That right there shows them that they're building that relationship. They care. And I've realized when you have kids like that, when you have adults like that, relationships are what mends that gap to where they are noticed and they know that they're cared for.
Most of the time, do you see that kids are willing to open up and communicate with you
When you build that relationship,
once you have their trust? Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. And that's why, as a coach, it's not about your agenda. Yeah, you want to win, but are you going to win at all costs? Right? I remember coaching a team that our first game, we got beat by 30. The second time we played that team, we got beat by 20. We played this team in a semifinals tournament, and we ended up beating them by, I think, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Why? Because we built trust throughout the season. We might not have won in the beginning, but we kept moving forward, building that trust, coaching them up to where we came in second place in the tournament.
So it's not about winning. It's about building the team so that they want to do their best for you.
100%.
Yeah.
To win games, my strategy is I'm going to win your heart.
That's good. So another thing I know, especially in our area, that we see is shortage of coaches. I feel like we're getting emails all the time. We need people to coach. We have 100 kids and 2 coaches. Like, why do you think that is?
A lot of people, I think it's because of work, the demand on work. They're always doing those things, providing for their family. And then to come and to coach kids that probably don't listen, have bad attitudes, it's just not something that entices them to want to do it. That's not what they grew up to do. They grew up to be salesmen or been in the restaurant business, been wherever. So there are very few people that really want to coach. And some of those people that want to coach, they want to coach because they have authority then.
Wrong
Right?
reasons.
They have a title.
Yeah.
Or you have some that, hey, I want my kid to get more playing time, so I'm going to coach them.
I see that a
Right?
lot.
Playing what we call daddy ball. Right? But I just, and you got some that they don't know the sport, so they're afraid to coach it. And we've run a basketball league. I've been able to do that with Tommy for over 20 years now. And he's coached me up in how to find coaches, how to build players, all that good stuff. What we see is I want 2 things from a coach. Either good character or knowledge of the game. If I can get both, that's a phenomenal coach, right? That's the coach that we want to have. But sometimes I can't get both.
Yeah.
So which one do I want? I want integrity. I want a head coach that has integrity, that has the right character. Because I can teach you the game of basketball. At this level, it's not really that hard. Basketball, baseball, softball, football, any sport. It's not really hard. It's learning your players.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's the X's and O's. From now to the end of time, it will always be about the Jimmies and the Joes. And that's why a lot of people don't go out there because they don't know the game. But I would rather have a character guy more than anything.
Yeah.
And so in our leagues today, you can see it. I mean, every season in every sport, you have a coach that probably gets kicked out of a game. And it's usually because they don't know how to control their temper. They think that this is the only game that the officials are cheating them, this, that, and the other. And it's like, time out. I mean, you got 15-year-old officials, right? Or you got some officials that they're out there literally because they want to give back to the kids. And I remember there's an official, and I know you're talking about coaches, but I had to put things in perspective. I was coaching, and this official, he got it totally wrong. And in that moment, I know he's wrong. I've been an official. I see the situation. I know he's wrong. How I handle it is not just about how I handle it, it's about how my parents are going to handle it as well.
Yeah.
And it's going to set the tone for the rest of the season. I shut my mouth in that moment. 2 days later, we see each other. He comes to me and he apologizes. Not very many people do that. And that guy is a phenomenal, not just an official, but a friend. That now whenever we see each other, we hug each other, we ask how each other are doing. We built that camaraderie. But I always know that the way that I act is the way the parents act. And usually as a coach, in those situations, you are setting the tone for a parent that says, man, I'm going to do this next year. And a lot of times they do it for the right reason or the wrong reason. But I just feel like as a coach, you got to know what you're doing it for, and it's for the kids.
Yeah. So it's not about knowing the sport. If you feel like you're a person who has the time to invest, has the patience, and is willing to pour into these kids, then you might be an okay coach.
But great coaches are the ones that probably don't know anything, but they have assistants. They have people that do, and they know how to work with people.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's good.
And then I coach junior high girls basketball. And those are some fun and interesting moments in them all. But it's, again.
So what age is that?
Middle school is 7th and 8th grade girls. So we're talking 13 or 12 to 14.
So how is the respect of middle school girls?
A lot of.
Is that a loaded question?
Yeah, it's a broad question.
I feel
right?
like, well, as a girl myself, I just remember the days where, I just thought my parents were stupid. I'm like, drop me off a mile from school. I don't know who you are. Like, is that kind of what you're still seeing in that age range, or?
No, I don't think so. And the reason why is I'm different. I don't coach the way that other people probably coach. I'm not that guy that if you mess up, you're going to go run the fence line, or you're going to run suicides and stuff like that. Because I see it in a whole different perspective, right? A lot of people don't like running today because why? They probably did it in PE.
Yeah.
And they did it as a punishment. Okay? Being physically fit is important throughout life, right? If that's the case, I don't want you to associate running with punishment. And a lot of times we do.
Yeah.
But if I want you to be physically fit, guess what? You're probably gonna have to run. You're probably gonna do box jumps. You're gonna walk. You're gonna do 6 inches. You're gonna do planks. There's a lot of things that you're gonna do, right? A lot of times we use burpees as a punishment. We use, you see what I'm saying?
They are a punishment
So,
for me.
so at the end of the day, if you want to go and work out, what are some of those exercises? Burpees. Everybody associates it with punishment. And that's why I say I'm different. I will make you do a drill over and over and over and over and over and over again to get you to get it right.
Yeah.
You mess up, okay, you got 2 more coming at you until you can get it right. I just watched some college players, and one of the things that the coach did, hey, you can't miss 2 in a row. All right, switch it, next person. Okay, switch it, next person. Like, we're gonna keep going until y'all can get it right.
Yeah.
There was never a time where, hey, we're about to run this and that. I'm not saying that that's not there. There comes a point in time where I might even say, okay, on the line. Right? And on the line, sometimes, let me get your attention.
Yeah.
Let's focus. Let's regain focus. Let's get back together on what we're trying to do. When it comes to girls' sports, man, girls to me are some of my favorite people to coach. I love coaching girls.
Why?
If you can capture their heart, you've won.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You've won. And I remember last year, I had the opportunity to coach these 7th grade girls, and they're special girls. They understood a little bit about the game of basketball, but they were athletic as well. So it made it a lot easier for me to coach them up because they wanted to be there and they had the ability to go and play at a high level. With them, I didn't have to motivate them, right? A lot of people, you got to go and motivate. No, they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
They were a sponge. They wanted to learn. Now, they were goofy. They were so goofy that sometimes, like in practice, they would be goofing around. They would be talking to each other. But I am goofy too, right? And so I know, okay, if you're not paying attention, it's going to show when you get out here on the court.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you do that. And then I'm going to call it out. And but I'm going to call it out in a respectful way, in a loving way. And last year's girls, they gelled together, they worked together. It was so fun to watch them play, not because they were just the best, because in the beginning, you could tell they were scared, they were nervous in certain things. And then at the end, they were winning games that they probably shouldn't have won, but they did it because they trusted me. I loved them. They loved me, and we could work together.
Yeah. What about the emotional aspect of dealing with middle school girls?
You gotta, that's the whole point. Like, you know who your emotional people are,
Yeah.
right? You know which ones that body language is gonna show everything about them. So if they mess up, most of the times when they mess up, if this kid goes up and misses the layup, what does mom and dad usually say in the stands? You missed the layup. I wish I, on behalf of Susie, could say, no, duh, mom, dad, we all saw it.
Yeah.
Do you think that she really tried to do that? No, she didn't. So guess what? Okay, hey, the next one. Okay, what did you do? What were you thinking about? The best coaches try to get in the head of their player.
Put it back on them and start them thinking.
Right? And so now, if I can ask you the right questions, you give me some answers, I know how to put you in a position to be successful later on down the road. I'm going to put you in positions in practice that whatever your fear is, we're probably going to encounter that in practice. So when it comes in the game, you're not worried about it, right? I remember one girl, she messed up a play or whatever, and we had to go to overtime. You know what happened in overtime? I went right back to her, You know what she did? She went down there and made the layup.
Good.
Why? Because I told her, hey, I'm coming right back to you because I believe in you. But here's the thing. I can't have more confidence in you than you have in yourself. Yeah. You got to believe in your abilities.
Yeah, I know a lot of coaches, you mess up and then you're out.
You're
and
out.
They're definitely not going to put you in for overtime.
That's right. And there's certain times for that. But there are certain times that you as a coach has to know this kid really wants to work hard. Mm-hmm. They want to improve. They want to get better. Okay. Well, then I got to be willing for them to mess up, but I got to build them up in the process. And the more confidence they have, the more that they feel like they can run through a brick wall for you.
Yeah.
So the emotions for them, that stuff doesn't really bother me because I know how I've been taught, and I've done a few techniques here and there to get them out of their emotions. Mm-hmm. There are times when in practice I might yell really loud and tell them, you need da-da-da-da-da. But then I might come back right after and say, but you did a good job though. Right? Because that's emotional, right? And in a game, that's what's happening. There's a lot of yelling. Mm-hmm. But I need you to know you got this.
Yeah. That's good. Do you think that sports and group activities are a good combatant for depression and anxiety?
I think activity is, mm-hmm. right? Sports are good, but in sports, there's anxiety. In sports, there's depression. Mm-hmm. In sports, there's all kind of mental aspects that you might encounter. Yeah. Right? How do you deal with that? So it's not necessarily just sports to deal with it, but it's in life. Mm-hmm. A lot of times as a parent, if you really take the time to focus on your kid, you will start to see those tendencies. Mm-hmm. You will start to see why are they functioning that way. I've learned that through my kids, I have one that acts just like me, right? And so,
wait, are they the hardest for you to deal with or the easiest? Because you know them, but is it just like I see myself in them, so it's harder to deal with that?
Initially, I'm frustrated. Mm-hmm. I can become angry sometimes because I know the potential that's inside of them. Yeah. But I feel like that small, still voice of the Holy Spirit starts to say, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. How are you in this situation? How are you just a few minutes ago? Yeah. And then it like, okay, all right, let's coach you up because you're acting like I do. Mm-hmm. You're doing something. So we don't need that. So what advice do you need to give them? God, show me. Show me what my kid needs right now. Mm-hmm. Because more than likely, whatever my kid needs, I need. Yeah. And if I'm not willing to change, they're probably not going to change either, right? You reap what you sow. Mm-hmm. So you have to be willing to make changes in your life if that's something that you're dealing with, that they're dealing with also. So it's helped me to see those things. Why do I feel the way that I do? I've just learned a lot of times kids don't know how to handle certain situations, or they handle it like their mom and dad, or they handle it whatever. Parents come to me and ask me questions all the time. My kid's too emotional. How do I fix it? This and the other. And I'm like, if you expect a coach that's working at Boeing, that's working at Merit House, that's working, like, if you expect these coaches to come in for 1 hour of practice and fix your kid, there's a problem there. Yeah. Right? And so for me, I love discipleship. Mm-hmm. Discipleship is just building people up, right? The Great Commission, go and make disciples, teaching them to obey. Mm-hmm. Teaching them to obey, right? That's one of the things. Well, in the Word of God, it also says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right, right? If that is the case, then we as parents have a responsibility in our kids. Too many times parents send their kids to a coach and expect that coach to fix everything about them. Listen, I can only help with a swing, help with this, that, and the other. Now, again, I'm different
Yeah.
because my coach has taught me differently. And I think that's a gift that God's given me, is to understand how people function and stuff like that. So I recognize those things, whereas somebody else, they don't. So it's a responsibility of the parents to help their kids navigate. If it's anxiety, if it's depression, okay. A lot of times when you get onto your kid, you punish them. What do? You send them to their room. What is a room? It's an isolation
Yeah.
by themselves. Now what are they doing? They're thinking everything that went wrong. I don't like my mom and dad no more. Right?
Yeah.
You never thought those things before, right? So,
Never.
so all those isolation moments, depression, anxiety, can be isolating. So we're feeding that, we're fueling that, and that's where it starts to trickle into sports now. I can't do anything right. Right? You listen to the verbiage of your kid or the other kids and see what they're saying, and it's usually they've heard it from somewhere else, or they're starting to be insecure. Now that starts to trickle in. I can't do it. I can't do it. Now we get that anxiety coming up, right? Or the depression, they go tuck away by themselves. They don't want to be around anybody else. And it's like, well, you got to go be a teammate. Stop sitting on the bench and go be a teammate. Well, guess what? It doesn't happen. You only see the fruit of that on the field or in a group or wherever, at church. At church. I don't want to go hang out with them. I don't want to sit with them. I don't want to go to youth. Okay, well, you don't have to. Time out. Who knows better here?
Yeah.
Who knows better? Just because I don't want to force it on them. No, you're not forcing. You're teaching. But a lot of times, I don't want to get into the whole church world, but I'm going to step in there just a little bit, right? A lot of times parents don't bring their kids or make their kids go to a youth event or go to things because they're not willing to do it themselves. They don't want to go to life group. They don't want to go be a part of the church thing. They just want, sometimes we want to just go punch our ticket to say, hey, we went to church, this, that, and the other. But that's not all we're called to do. We're called to do life together.
You lead by doing.
You do. And so the best way to disciple is to disciple our kids first. If we disciple our kids first, if dads step up and disciple their family and their kids, guess what? Then the church will grow even better.
Yeah. Well, I think about my kids and serving at church and the days that I'm there for 2 or 3 services, and they're like, oh, I don't want to be in multiple services. I don't want to go back in there. Like, is this your job? Are you working? But that's like it's opportunity to have that conversation with your kids. Like, no, I am giving my time back to the church. I am volunteering because I love to be here and it fills my cup. And this is why we are doing this. Not just, you have to be here, tough, deal with it, you know?
Right. But teaching them how to serve.
Yeah.
Right? You want to find a good teammate? They go to church, they stay longer. If you got multiple services, they're there serving in one and attending one.
Yeah.
They're giving people hugs. They're encouraging somebody, right? Who do they learn that from? Mom and dad. If mom and dad are encouraging, if mom and dad are high-fiving, if mom and dad are giving people hugs, well, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. No. Hugs are not only for extroverts.
Yeah.
Hugs are for introverts. Anybody can hug, right?
Yeah.
Encouragement. Only extroverts give encouragement? No.
You're talking to somebody who has a hard time with hugs, so I'm just going to let you
I understand that.
Personal space.
I get it. I totally get that. I'm just telling you, as a parent, as a coach, I got to be willing to do the things that I'm telling them to do.
Yeah.
Right? I got to be willing to model those things. Okay? If I want to be a good teammate, I'm going to encourage my kids. They mess up, they know they messed up. So build them back up so they go catch the next one.
Yeah.
Right? Church is a great grounds for teaching them how to be a good teammate, how to get out of your own feelings.
Yeah.
When I worked at Chick-fil-A, they came up with this thing called second mile, going the second mile. In the beginning, I hated it because I'm like, why am I about to go take their tray and go throw it in the trash when they can get up themselves and take their tray and throw it in the trash?
Yeah.
Why am I about to come out and ask them, can I refresh your beverage? Not refill, refresh. Like, we have to use certain terminology, right? I'm like, this is dumb. This is just, like, they can come up to the counter like they've been doing and ask, hey, can I get a refill? After a certain amount of time of doing it, and me being able to put a smile on people's faces and have conversations with them, man, it changed my whole perspective.
Yeah.
Because you never know what people are dealing with. So many times we get in our own little space, our own little bubble, that we don't want to go out there and see what other people are doing. It's all about me, me, me.
Yeah.
When I started doing that second mile and I started to serve, it started to teach me it's bigger than me.
So the second mile is like going above and beyond.
Going above and beyond. And it's not to be noticed. It's not. It's to be an encouragement to other people. It's to love people.
Yeah.
Serving is one of the best things that Chick-fil-A ever modeled. And it wasn't modeled just through the workers. It was modeled with Truett Cathy.
Yeah.
If you go into Chick-fil-A today, you'll see on the left-hand side a big sculpture of Jesus washing the disciples' feet. That's what we're called to do. So at the end of the day, to me, as I'm raising my kids, I'm teaching them how to be a good teammate, just like Jesus was. Go serve.
That's really good. So kind of steering away from the inspirational and going into a burnt toast moment.
Yeah.
In wrapping up, give us a time where you just experienced something crazy or got something wrong and kind of learned from the situation.
Yeah. So a lot of times I like coaching my kids. I like coaching my kids because it's my responsibility, first of all. Okay. Secondly, I want them to have good experiences. I want them to be a part of a good team. Being a part of a good team doesn't mean they always win, but they can be competitive. Now, we're going to go out there to win, but sometimes in that developmental stage of your kid trying to learn and grow, it can be tough. And so as a parent, I like to take them one-on-one. If they want to go and work on something, I take them and I work with them. And fear was residing in our training, and I overstepped my boundaries one day. And just started speaking all out of turn, very loud. And I learned early on with my wife that creating a safe place is very important for her and for my kids. And in that moment, it wasn't something that would take them to they were never like in a threatening situation, but I could tell I was still in the joy out of the game.
Yeah.
It was no longer fun. She didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. And God definitely convicted me in that moment. And I had to go and apologize to her, but also apologize to my family. Because that's not who I want to be, and that's not who I am. God has never berated me before. And I never want my kids to feel like that's who I am or that's who God is.
Yeah.
And so that day was very eye-opening for me, that I usually have a lot of and even I was having self-control, but I was trying to get her out of being so fearful that I did it at all cost. And that wasn't the right thing to do. So, going back to what we were talking about earlier, get on the phone with my coach, ask some questions. He puts things in perspective. She's 8.
Yeah.
She's 8.
How do your kids react when you apologize?
Very receiving. They take it in, but I think it's easy for them to go and apologize to each other or to other people.
Because they see you doing it?
100%.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we got to ask for forgiveness. So if you never model asking for forgiveness,
Yeah.
and again, it's easy, maybe it is, I don't know. Might be easier for you to go to your workplace and ask for forgiveness, but usually I would tell you probably don't,
Yeah.
right? But at home, if you can do it at home, you can do it anywhere. You really can.
It's so important for your kids to see you apologize.
Yeah.
I feel like. So in ending all of this, is there any final words that you want to leave the viewers with?
Yes. I love coaching, right? I've been able to have 4 different perspectives when it comes to sports, from an official, a player, a coach. What was the other one? Official, player, coach, and a parent, and a parent, and a parent, right? Having those 4 perspectives has given me a lot of different vantage points, right? Different viewpoints to understand how to coach my kid or other people's kids. And so if you hear coaches that has a really good player, they usually say, man, this kid right here has a lot of great potential. And the next word usually coming out of their mouth is, but. The great coaches know how to coach their butt. The other coaches that don't want to have anything to do with them, or they bring up every excuse about the kid don't want to listen, the kid don't want to do this, they always put the blame on the kid.
Yeah.
They don't want to coach the butt part of it, right? So as a parent, as a player, as an official, whoever, I ask the question, who's coaching your butt? Who's going to take the time to help you grow and develop in the area that's the most messy? Because a lot of people don't want to get in the mess. They don't want to go out there and encourage and build you up and be willing to get in the mess of when you mess up, they're not there having your back. They're there punishing you. They're there sending you somewhere else to somebody else, right? Because they don't want to get in the mess. And so I ask people all the time, who's coaching your butt? Because that part right there unlocks your potential.
Yeah. That's good. Final words. You don't have to have it all together. You just have to show up. Be there for your kids. Develop a relationship where they want to come talk to you and share with you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Beauty and Burnt Toast. Thank you, Leonard, so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Please make sure to follow along with us, leave us a review. If you have a show that you would like to see us talk to somebody in particular, talk about a certain topic, please feel free to share that with us. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.